Lead Well, Write Well, with Pusonnam Yiri. Thank you for joining us. We trust that this webinar will be helpful in encouraging our leaders to write. As you know, they always have an excuse saying they are so busy. They don't have time to sit down and put into writing valuable leadership insight, inspiring stories to benefit others. This is Ramon Rocha greeting you on behalf of MAI. Thank you for joining us today. And if you have questions during our Q&A, please use the chat window to type in your questions. We are happy to have Mr. Pusonnam Yiri as our honored resource speaker today. Pusonnam Yiri of Nigeria is an author, speaker, and trainer. He has written several books, including Effective Short Stories and Their Lessons, Slavery of the Mind, and Blindness of the Mind. His book, Blindness of the Mind, has been used as a University of Jos resource book to train students. He is also the president of Task Workers. He conducts seminars on professional writing and development. His vision is to help people discover their purpose in life through reconciliation with Jesus. So we are happy to have Pusonnam. Thank you so much for saying yes to our invitation to be our resource speaker today. Take it away.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pusonnam, start your presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon from Nigeria. My name is Pusonnam Yiri, so we are going to be looking at lead well and write well. Just look at this description. A leader is like a jack of ideas. He or she pours content into a cup of book. What is your understanding of this opening? I'm aware that we live in different environments, and because of that, our experiences will be different. But I hope some of my thoughts will be helpful to you wherever you are. But first, I want you to look at this image. A leader is like a jack of ideas. He or she pours content into a cup of book. That means you cannot give what you don't have. You should have first before you will be able to give later. In my years of training writers, I discovered a huge connection between leadership and book writing. All emerge from what a person knows. And is very vital in helping leaders to write professionally. If we want fresh and unique books, then leaders should be trained and persuaded to write their stories and lessons from their leadership, which means if you need a fresh book, then you should go for fresh content. So fresh content, fresh books. And let me define leadership in this context. Leadership to me is direction. A leader is a person who offers direction. So just look at this. The best people to write books on editing are the editors, because they are leaders. They have years of experience in offering direction as editors. And publishers will write fresh and better books on publishing. Pastors will write better on pastoral ministry. All these people are leaders. So whether you are a writer, a publisher, or an editor, based on this definition, you are a leader because you offer direction to others. You help others find better direction in whatever they are doing. So in another word, leadership is content. Leadership is content. So I started training writers in 2010. I discovered a huge gap in them in Nigeria. I don't know about you, but in Nigeria, I discovered this huge gap. There was less self-development, hence the need to train them on self-development before equipping them with writing skills. So I discovered that one of the best ways to train Nigerians in professional book writing is to focus on developing their content, helping them to have the right awareness and the right packaging of their content before equipping them with the writing skills. So as a result of that, I developed an approach that is useful to me in training by the grace of God. And I call it CMT. CMT is the approach I often use. The C stands for challenge. They need to first wake up from writing sleep and see the need to write. So don't just go to the level of training. Challenge, wake them up from sleep so that they will see the need. And then the next step is to motivate. They need to be motivated to write because many of them in Nigeria are at this level, the level of motivation, before you now train them. So the T stands for train. Train them practically. That means you should, I discovered that focusing on these three H is very important. The H, the head, the heart, and the hand. One of my friends said, in training Africans, it is very important you engage their hands. Okay, but the PMT approach focuses on the three H, the head, we reach the heart so that they can reason very well, and then we reach the heart so that they can reflect and meditate very well, and then we reach the hand so that they are now involved. So the practical approach works for us. Coaching leaders to write also needs the CMT approach. It's important now we use the CMT approach in training leaders. So as a result of that, I have developed a training manual that I call Kunto. Kunto stands for river. Kunto 17, also written a book titled Book Writing by the Grace of God using the CMT approach. This is to help me be of great support to writers, especially in Nigeria. I hope this material, when they are finally released to the public, will help leaders write well. Potential writers can organize this by God's grace using the Kunto 70-30 manual. It is a practical approach that I've been using, and I discovered that it is very useful in training leaders. The next aspect we need to look at is because of our desire to train leaders, this year we started a center, and we call our center Natural Trauma Center Limited. The trademark is NT Center. And we hope by the grace of God to train more leaders, okay, in the area of leadership and writing. So to capture our vision, NTC Center is knowledge-empowered people living meaningfully, getting the right values properly for God's glory. So to me, a successful leader is he or she who is able to lead well and also write the values for God's glory. Because in this part of the world, we have lost supposed to learn from the past and correct today and improve tomorrow. We are busy repeating their errors because of lack of effective access, okay, to the people in the past. I also want us to continue. So I think to drive home the point, I think it will be useful for me to share just three comments from a few feedback I received from leaders that I have reached. This will help us to have a better feel of what I have been talking about. The first one, his name is Rev Jerry Paulo. He's a former General Secretary of New Life for All. He wrote it in his acknowledgement page of the book titled Heaven, How Can I Be Sure? Okay, I'm sure you can read that. So this is an expression coming from a leader to drive home the point that leaders are very important in leadership and book writing development. And the second person also wrote this in his acknowledgement page. This man is a top leader. His name is Rev N.C. Thompson. He is the founder and general overseer of Redeemed People's Mission, Incorporated, as well as his associated educational institution. This is also what he wrote in his acknowledgement page. This is helpful to build the idea that leaders are important and they can be trained to write very well. And the second person is this. He's also my neighbor. His name is Khaled Bochin. He wrote a book, Effective Communication in Church and Society. This is what he also wrote in his acknowledgement page. Okay. Considering these three testimonies, I'm sure we have seen practically how leaders are responding to what God is using us to do here in Nigeria. So leaders can be trained, and it's possible for us to train them very well. But the question now is, why leaders? Why are we focusing on leaders? This picture is from is the last workshop we organized and facilitated in August. So many of them here are leaders. Mark Hopkins says something that is very important. He says these days many are publishing books because they want to say something. But not so many are publishing because they have something to say. So what is the difference between having something to say and saying something? For instance, a single young person who writes a book on 10 principles of kind of having a successful marriage, to me, I think no matter how good his points are, he has something to say. Okay, he has something to say. So Mark Hopkins says these days there are many people who are writing or publishing books because they want to say something, not because they have something to say. So this is key in our discussion today. So why leaders? Remember, we're still focusing on the question, why leaders? So leaders have a lot to say. They have a lot to say. So each has a unique leadership experience. Each can produce unique books that are fresh, indigenous, and original, which means 10 leaders cannot write on the same thing. Each of them will share his or her unique experiences, which can make their books fresh. And the second reason why leaders, the second reason we need to focus on leaders is because leadership lessons and experiences are lost when a leader dies undocumented. An author wrote that when an educated person dies, it's like burning down a library. So leaders have a lot of lessons to share, so we cannot allow them to die undocumented. And the third reason is writing organizes a leader's vision and content. Writing organizes a leader's vision and content. Because the more you write as a leader, the better your understanding of your vision and your content, because writing forces you to think critically on paper. Okay, so writing is essential for leaders because it will help them organize their visions very well and their content. And the next one, God used leaders to write the Holy Bible. For example, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John shared one story from different leadership perspectives. Okay, 4 leaders, one story, but because of their different experiences and perspectives, they have given us fresh angles to one common story. Okay, so it's important for us to learn from them. Different leaders will offer different perspectives on one issue. And then the next one is imagine Christianity today, assuming all the leaders God used to write the whole Bible had died undocumented. Today we have the Holy Bible because these leaders were able to write. Okay, so these leaders were able to write, which is good for us. And today we have the Bible. And then leading through book writing expands a leader's scope of influence. There are many books written by different leaders from different countries that are in Nigeria today. I've never seen them one-on-one. Some of them I've never listened to their sermons, but I have their books, and their books are blessing me in different ways. So book writing expands a leader's scope of influence. Okay? If you are a pastor can only preach within the four walls of his church building. But like somebody said, a book is a missionary. It can move from one continent to another. So a local leader can become a global leader through writing. And again, leaders are communicators. As communicators, they need to also communicate through books. It's important, I discovered in this my journey of training leaders, that they are communicators. They have a lot to say, so they need the book writing platform for them to communicate their values from one level to another. And short-term leadership is without writing. Long-term leadership is achieved through writing. So if we help leaders to capture their thoughts, if we help them write good books, that means they are going to have long-term leadership, even when their books can outlive them. So they will be able to reach generation A to Z through their books. So it's very important we don't allow them to die undocumented. And then a local leader can grow to universal leadership through writing. A local leader. Do you know any local leader that is today a universal leader as a result of writing? There are many of them. So writing, to me, is a very good platform of helping our local leaders reach the global platform, okay, with their stories and their experiences. And the Lord answered me. This is from the testimony of Habakkuk. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. This is King James Version. So leaders have visions. They need to write them and make them plain. God specifically instructed Habakkuk, a leader, to write down his vision and make it plain. So leaders have visions, and they need to capture their visions and make these visions plain. So we can help leaders to capture their visions. And again, every leader, to me, I see every leader as a storyline. Okay, he or she is the protagonist of the story. If you ask me to write my story, I will be the protagonist. I will be the leading character of my story. So every leader is a storyline, and we cannot afford to lose that. We need to encourage them to share their experiences. And again, leaders have experience in communicating to diverse audience because their leadership platforms have already exposed them to effective communication to diverse audience. So as a result of that, this is an advantage in the area of book writing. So we can help them to reach many people at the same time because of their capacity to communicate to diverse people at the same time. And again, leaders often lead many people, which means they already have potential readers. If I'm leading 1 million people today, that means when I write a book, in my primary contest, I should be able to sell this book to probably 500,000 minimum. So leaders already have people who are following them. So these people are potential readers. If we can help these leaders to write good books, they already have a potential network of readers. So it's very, very important. And also, they can actively sell their books through their networks. You know, leaders have their own network and they know how to communicate very well. Leaders have friends who are also leaders, and they can share speaking platforms, which is good for promotion. To me, I think speaking platform is one of the best promotion platforms for promotion. So leaders have friends. If they become book writers, they can share speaking platforms, and these platforms are very good for promotion. The next one is leaders often have the funds to self-publish their books, where the traditional publishers are not available. These are some of the things I have discovered in my few years of training leaders, that they have the funds. Many of them have the funds, so which means if the traditional publisher is not existing in a leader's in their own primary contest, they have the funds to support their own projects. They have the funds to publish their projects, as self-publishers before they get people that will take them next level. So now we have seen and heard why leaders. So I'm convinced that leaders have a lot to say. Leaders have the right justification to write on their subjects, on their various subjects. If we can focus on them and encourage them, motivate them to write, I am convinced that by the grace of God, the publishing world will have more fresh content, which will enhance the level of patronage. Coaching leaders in writing their own books. Let us now look at how I have been doing it, and I hope these thoughts will be useful to you. One thing I discovered is this: when you are helping a leader to write, always insist on connecting the book project to a leader's main vision. If the book project is connected, is in line with his main vision, the leader will see the importance of the project better. The leader will accept the project better, because he or she will now know that whatever I do to this book project, in another way, I'm also enhancing my main vision. So find a way of connecting his book project to his main vision. This I discovered is very helpful, because it helps the leader focus on the book writing project very well. And then, in helping them to write, you should help them to understand that writing is done through distractions. Writing is done through distractions. I have been telling them, look, if you look as a leader, if you look for the right time to write, you may never have it. So the best way to approach writing project is to do it through distractions, which means no matter what. I know they are busy people, but this is easy when they understand that the book project is in line with their main vision. So no matter how busy they are, I encourage them to find different ways of writing through distractions. They shouldn't look for the right time. They should look for the time that they know that they can do it. And no matter how little they do it, is progress. So I encourage them to focus on little. Little step is progress. Somebody asked his students to define big. They gave several sophisticated definitions, and then the person now surprised his students. He said the definition of the word big is small plus small plus small. So this is, to me, the best way to help leaders write. Help them to focus on big as small plus small plus small. In that way, they will write through distractions. And again, this may surprise you, but I really discovered this. Leaders are highly teachable, especially if you are working on them on a subject matter they don't really understand, but at the same time they need it. So leaders are highly teachable. If they don't know a subject and they need it, they are teachable. But first of all, help them to understand that this subject is something they need. When I invite leaders to write, I really don't focus on teaching them writing, because I'm convinced they all know how to write. So I'm specific. I invite them to learn book writing, not writing, book writing. And many of them don't know how to write books professionally. So the specific approach is helpful to me in getting their understanding and support and allowing me to train them. So I focus on book writing, not the general writing. Because in my context, if you focus on the general writing, some of them will assume that they already know how to write, and you will not get their support. But focusing on book writing is a help in training leaders. Leaders want to be respected. So when you are working with them on their book, on their project, please respect them. They want to be respected. They are leaders. Okay, they are leaders, so they want to be respected. And if you respect them, you will support, you get their cooperation, and then you will be involved very well. So make sure you give them the respect they deserve. Leaders, again, expect resistance once in a while. They may want to hold on to what they want. You know, they are leaders, and some of them are rigid. So you should expect resistance once in a while. Sometimes they may not allow you to move them forward. So don't focus only on your own pace. You should consider the leader and then help the leader see it from the best point of view. So don't insist on your ideas. Okay, we like to work with the leader. No matter how tough they are, please be patient, be patient, be patient. Leaders are teachable, especially when you're working on their project. And leaders are busy people. They are very busy people. Ramon mentioned it. Leaders are busy people, but they are eager to spare time if you are working on their projects. If you are not working on their projects, it's difficult for them to spare the time. But remember, I earlier mentioned that you should find a way of connecting the writing, helping the leader see the writing project in connection with his main vision. Okay, now that they are busy, please just know that they are busy, yes, but they are eager. Understand the value of the project. If they see the project moving them from level 1 to level B, they want to support you. They want to give you their time. So this, I discovered this is very helpful to me. Like one of them that I work is a top leader, very busy, because we were working on his project. I was able to get enough time from him. He supported me. He was really friendly, and by the grace of God, we achieved the project together. So remember that always help them to see the benefit of the project, not to you as the editor or the publisher, but to their mega visions. Leaders are already in active motion. They need just a little push to move faster. This is good news. They are already in active motion. So if you want to help them write their books, please, they just need a little push to help them move faster. But first of all, let them understand the need, the importance of the project in line with their grand visions. And leaders, we all know that leaders respect time, not only leaders. I respect time, and I'm sure all of you respect time too. Leaders respect time. In helping them to write, please find a way of achieving more with a leader within a short time. Okay? Find a way of achieving more with a leader within a short time. If you don't achieve in 30 minutes, what you can easily achieve in 2 hours with somebody who is a leader. Always find a way of achieving much or more within a very short time. This will help the leader. This will make the leader to trust you. So next time, if you book him for an appointment, he will be willing because he knows that you love time, you respect time, and then you cherish his schedules, and then you are willing to help him focus on other things. So please find a way of helping them achieve more within a short time. This again is useful to me in training leaders. And leaders don't want you to insist on your ideas. They don't want you to insist on your ideas, but help them understand through proper and respectful interactions. They want you to work interdependently. They want to see you as a colleague. They don't want you to make them look as students. Okay? So don't insist on your ideas. They are not your students. They are not your staff. Maybe some of them are not technically your friends. So help them interact with them, help them understand through proper and respectful interactions, not just through interactions, respectful interactions. Okay, this is helpful to me, and I hope it will also be helpful to you. And the next one is that leaders have networks. Expect a leader's friend to also engage you when you do a good job. When you do a good job and a leader is proud of the project, he will inform his friends. So please expand your coverage, your scope, your capacity, because if you do a successful project with leader A, he will tell his friends about it. So you should expect more leaders to come to you for help. But it's not going to be easy before you reach the finishing line. It's not going to be easy. It's a tough journey, but it is possible. It's tough, but it's possible. If we can focus on what God can use us to do, there is no mountain that is, too far for us to reach. So expect a leader's friend to also engage you when you do a good job. Leaders, again, work on their books with much tension if they already have a release date. So my advice is that you should ensure that there is no date for release until the book is done. You know, these are people that cherish credibility. They don't want embarrassment. So please don't allow a leader to have a release date before you finish working on his project. If you do, you are not going to enjoy the leader. The leader will work under pressure. The leader will be afraid. Okay, and it is not easy for you to convince the leader to focus on finishing before releasing, but it's possible. We have to help them see. I think I experienced this twice, and I can tell you, it wasn't easy for me. It was tough. It was tough. If we allow them to fix release date before the completion of the project, we may not help them achieve a good project. They may be in a hurry to release, and then that will affect our level of professionalism. So through respectful interactions, let's help the leaders finish their books before having their release date. This is very key. Is necessary. It's not easy, but it's necessary and it's important for the project. Okay, let's talk about charging a leader. You know, these people are leaders. They already have their own understanding of what is good and what is bad. So if you are to charge leaders for services according to their worldviews of price, product, and service. Low price, medium, and high. In Nigeria here, there are many people who think low price means bad product. Okay, a few of them can go for the medium, but many of them will prefer the high. I don't know your own definition of high, but But you should find a way of, if you must charge a leader, you should find a way of understanding his worldviews of price, product, and service, and then you charge in line with understanding of the word good or the word quality product, or I mean quality, the word quality. So we have to also look at this. That is, if you're working with a leader commercially. And again, leaders may share other areas of need outside the book project. If they observe that you can also help them in other areas, be willing to listen. You know, top leaders, I realize, sometimes they are lonely. They are looking for people, especially outsiders. Because I don't know about you in your area, I'm convinced that employees often don't tell their leaders the complete, the big picture. Why? Because they may be afraid of intimidation or offending the leader and other reasons. So leaders are often lonely. So in the process of helping them, if they observe that you can also advise them, let's say in the area of leadership and other areas, they will share other things with you. So don't tell the leader, no, I'm just here to help you on your book project. Please, I don't want to listen to your family problems. I don't want to listen to your personal problems. I'm just here to help you. Please, you should look for a counselor somewhere. Just do your best. Listen. Sometimes they are lonely. If you can help, please, you should also help them in other areas. Okay? They want to have you next time. It's very important. And the next point is, when you are working with leaders, you should know that leaders want you to be confident in working with them. They don't want timid people. They don't want you to have low self-image. They want you to understand. They want to work with people who have confidence. Because your level of confidence will convince them, okay, that you know what you're doing. Will help them cooperate with you better. If they observe you have confidence and you can do your work very well. And you should also look at this area. Work with a leader and his team. Work with a leader. This is very important. Well, because leaders are busy. Please, when you are working with on their projects, you should make sure that their team members are also part of the project. Okay, that means work with the leader and his team. Because the team members need to understand the project and how they can help their leader. Okay? They are his team members, so they need to understand. If you're working with a leader on his book project, involve his team members. Let them understand. Let them know how they can help him. Let them know how they can check a few things for him. That one is very, very important. That will help the leader to relax. That will help the leader to respect the project. And because he or she knows that he is not alone. This is very helpful. And then you should also help the leader, the team members, to understand how they can support him, because he is a leader and there are so many things he needs to know and do. Okay, this is not the only project. So the next one is, keep a leader's project private. Don't announce it in public. He or she does. He may not trust you next time. So keep his project private. Let him or her be the first to share it. Okay, let them share. Let them tell others about their project. Don't go about telling, because they need people who trust you. They may not trust you. They may not tell you other things. And an elephant. One day, an ant wanted to cross a river through a bridge, and at the same time as an elephant. The ant asked the elephant for a ride across. The elephant agreed and backed the ant. As they were crossing the bridge started shaking. At the end of the trip, the ant told his friends that When we were crossing the bridge, it was shaking because of our weight. It was shaking because of our weight. So the question I ask you is, do you agree with the ant? Do you agree with the ant? Can you type your answer, please, for me to see? Do you agree with the ant? You call it our weight. Let me pause for a few seconds and get your feedback. Do you agree with it? I agree. Okay. Charlie, you said you agree. Thank you very much. Barbara, you were working as a team. Yes, you agree. Oh, Joel, you also agree. Okay. Let me have more. Okay. Joel said yes. All right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay. Thank you for. Okay. Somebody is typing. Oh, Charlie, I have a feeling this is a trick. Trick question. Okay. Thank you, Charlie. But this is just to help us see they were together, even though the weight is, some people think it's not significant, but they were together. Okay. So I think I agree with the end. So the question now is, the idea now is no one is useless. In working with the leader, working with the leader is all about teamwork. No contribution is too small. No partner is small. Teamwork is necessary in working with leaders. Leaders are busy people, but they can ride through distractions. Leaders are busy people, but they can spare time for you to help them if you are working on their projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pusonnam. That was really very helpful. Thank you for preparing your presentation and leading us on how we can challenge, motivate, and train our leaders to write. Let We are open for questions. If, uh, if you have a question in mind, please type in your question right now. So we have time. Yes. Let me ask the first question, Pusonnam.
Yeah.
When you work with a leader, you know,
Yeah.
and well respected, and submit his manuscript to you, and he said, "This is from God. I don't think you need to change anything. What I've written, don't need to edit anything. You just have to publish it as it is." How do you how do you deal with this leader who says anything, no changes in the manuscript I've written?
Okay, I think this is as a result of ignorance. Okay, this is as a result of ignorance, and I see trainers as counselors. You know, I have a proverb that no matter how far your village is, there is another village after yours. So, as a trainer, it is your duty to help this leader understand. You help him understand that even though the message came from the Lord, but the Lord has also called others to polish his I mean the packaging of his message. So you need to approach the leader with all humility. You approach him as a counselor, and if he's not ready to cooperate with you, I think he needs to find another way of doing it.
Okay, thank you. Any other question from the others? Barbara has a question. Can you read that, Pusonnam?
Yes. Okay, Barbara, thank you for your question. First of all, you have to understand, I've already mentioned that, said earlier, that you have to approach them not formally, but informally, because leaders are in need of good friends. So you approach them and help them. They understand, they need, paint the picture of tomorrow for them to see. Help them understand. You see, this has been very helpful. Okay, focus on legacy. Help them to understand the pain of not documenting their values, and the idea of whenever you invite them, uh, especially to be part of the workshop, please invite them a writing workshop. Invite them to attend. Want to write books, how to write well, but they don't know how to write books professionally. So I also mentioned that if you are working with a leader on something he needs, but he doesn't know, you will get his support and you will get his cooperation. Focus on helping them understand their content. First, help them to understand their content, and then help them to understand their areas of justification. And use the CMT, you challenge, you motivate before you train them. So I observe that my best approach is the CMT. I challenge them to see the need, and then I motivate them to believe they can do it before I train them.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? Or the question I was asking you before we started, Pusonnam. Okay,
Yes.
You have this leader, and he keeps on, you know that he has a message, an important message, and he keeps on saying he's so busy, and he just wouldn't want to sit down and write. Would you go to the extent of assigning a ghost writer to shadow this leader, or get his sermon notes, the recordings of his sermons, and transcribe the sermon? And yeah, would you go to the extent of that, trying to help this leader document his insights?
Sermon transcription. Every leader, every writer we all know has a voice. So the concept, the idea of ghostwriting is not popular in Nigeria. Okay, so not many people want to accept the idea of acting as ghosts. So, but it's not popular in Nigeria. So because it is not popular, even though it may be helpful, for now at this level, I don't encourage them to go with that, because the ghostwriters may not always be available. So I focus on helping the leaders understand the need first, and then develop them on professional book writing, so that without ghostwriters tomorrow, they should be able to act on their own. Okay, there's a saying that don't give somebody fish, take him to the river and teach him how to fish. So I really focus on developing them because of our kind of need here in Nigeria. We need right leaders who are leading through book writing. Concern the area of sermon transcription from sermon to books. I don't really encourage that until they go through the stages of converting their sermons to book. Because if I preach a sermon in, let's say, Church A, and then I am now converting my sermon to a book, which is probably for Church A, B, C, D. You see, the audience has changed. The illustrations I use within my own local church may not be useful if you include that in your book for the general audience. So I encourage them to take their sermons through the stages of conversion, like Reverend Thompson. I helped him convert his sermons to his own book. It wasn't easy, but they have to go through the stages of conversion before sermons can easily can professionally become good books. The process of conversion is necessary. But have the sermon is the first step. But I don't encourage them to go to the market with sermons going through the stages of conversion.
Yes, thank you, Pusonnam. We have an interesting question here from Lekan. While we are chasing leaders who have content and they are reluctant to write, but so many people think that they can write well when they cannot. How do you this? Those who are
let me get the.
They think Lekan's question. Too many people think they can write well when they cannot. How do you cope?
Okay, please permit me to look at the 4 levels of ignorance that I have kind of highlighted recently somewhere. The first level, they are people who cannot move themselves. They don't have enough information to move themselves. The people operating at level 2, they can move themselves, but they don't have sufficient information to move others, to move even their primary context. And people operating at level 3, they have sufficient information to move themselves, to move their primary environments, and to move others, but they cannot operate globally. The 4th level of people, they can move themselves, move others locally, and as well move people globally. So when you are dealing with leaders who are operating at the level 3 and the level 4, it is very easy. They are busy people, and sometimes to get commitment from them is difficult. But we need to try. We need to try. Okay, if they understand the importance of the project, by the grace of God, you will get their cooperation. But they need to first of all understand. We need to have the patience. Okay, we need to have the patience to do this. In one of my, permit me to share a brief story, okay, that will illustrate this. It's not a true, it's a parable, more like it's not a true story. A man and a woman, they were married for 20 years without a child. So they have been praying for 20 years for God to bless them with children. Then God sent 3 things: child, money, and patience, for them to go to the man and let the man and the woman choose one. And before you get into the man's house, there was a huge river, and only patience knew how to swim. So patience helped child and money to cross. Eventually they went, and even though it wasn't easy, but the man chose patience. So on their way back to God, child and money reached the river. And according to that story, since they couldn't cross the river, they went back and lived with patience. So the man got all the 3 because he chose patience. So in working with leaders, it's very important for us to choose patience. It's not going to be easy. It is difficult, but with patience and trust in God, we can help them. But the set of leaders that are operating at level 1 and 2, they also have their own side of the story. These people, we need to first of all, even though they cannot right now, that's why they need us. We need to really patiently focus on mentoring them first, helping them to understand who they are, to understand their content, before we now move to the level of coaching them in the area of professional writing. So whether you are working with a leader who wants to write but cannot write, or a leader who wants to write and he can write, you all need to have patience. Okay? It's important, it's difficult, but it's possible. So we can help the 2 of them.
Thank you. It's really helpful. Joel has a, hello Joel. He is working a ghostwriter, and he finds it difficult how to express. I'd like to know how to express myself as if I was him and not me.
Okay? Joel, thank you for the question. It's really a problem. You know, somebody in one of the webinars, I think about 2 years ago or so, somebody here, one of the facilitators, said something that I will not forget. She said, there are three worlds, okay? The writer needs to have his own world, and then he needs to understand his world before he can now communicate his world. So if you are working with a writer, a ghost writer, remember you're a ghost. I mean, as a ghost writer, you have to first of all, get into his world. You cannot help him until you understand his world. You know, you are not a tailor, you are a dry cleaner. You are not changing his shape. That is why maintaining his voice is very, very important. So you have to understand his world, okay? Get into his world, understand his world before you can help him communicate his world. But many people want to help leaders, okay, from level 3. Okay, you have to get into his world. You have to understand his world before you can communicate his world, Joel. It's not easy. That's why I hardly encourage people to go, even though it is helpful in documentation, but the journey is not easy. Okay, Joel, thank you. Get into his world and understand that very well.
Thank you. That's, yes, try harder, I think.
Yes, try harder.
And really understanding where the person is coming from. Okay. So any other question from the floor? These are interesting questions, by the way, and we are happy that our participants are interacting and engaging. Yeah, so every leader has fresh content to share, and we may have to really be patient, as you said, to work with our
Yeah.
leader. Okay, so I think we're done with the Q&A, unless somebody else would try to ask a quick question. But we would like to thank you, Pusonnam. We would like to thank you for really helping us today. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you that you have challenged us as well and motivated us to come alongside our leaders, document their message, all for the glory of God. Indeed. Thank you so much, Pusonnam.
Yeah, we are welcome. We give God the glory. Yeah.
Lekan says, thanks for being a true servant of the word. Amen. Amen to that acknowledgement
Amen.
from Lekan. Our next, MAI's next two free webinars on November 21st, learn how to enhance your trade books, add Bible study guides, devotional content, videos, and more. This is extending your book, adding more resources, and our speaker will be Mr. Bill Craig from Lifeway. So sign up for this webinar on November 21st, how to enhance your trade books by adding more content into it, and Mr. Bill Craig will be our speaker for that. And on December 12th, writing to evangelize. It's again an interesting topic. Writing to reach people, share the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, especially to the majority world when you are in a country where Christianity is a minority. How do you write to evangelize? Mr. R.D. Roberto will be our speaker on December 12th. So register for these next two webinars and share to other people, share to your friends that we have this helpful resource, and take advantage of the resources that we offer to MAI. talking about fresh content from leaders. The next Lit World will be next year, October 28 to November 2 in Singapore. And the theme is the word made fresh. The word made fresh. Pusonnam said he likes the theme, and we hope you like the theme as well. So make plans, check your calendars, put in your calendars. Lit World is a unique conference, a gathering of literature workers, writers, editors, publishers, designers from around the world coming together to be inspired, to get insights, to be equipped, to encourage one another in this strategic ministry of the written word. So please come to Lit World next year. We would like to thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you again next month for our next webinar. Check into our website and see more resources from there. We have recordings of past webinars. Pick and choose topics which would interest you and would be helpful to you, and please watch these webinars on demand and watch it with your team. Talk about it and learn together. So thank you again. Thank you, Pusonnam. Thank you for being a blessing to us today. And we would like to greet everyone. Have a good day for those who still have activities to do for the rest of the day, or those who are going to rest for the night. Good day or good night. God bless you all. Thank you.